Corvette Build Series, Episode 1. If you guys are seeing this, that means our video dropped January 1st, or roughly therein. It's actually November 22nd right now, so a couple months behind. Means our video dropped of the rental program and what we're intending to do with this car with all the amazing partners that came on board to back us this next season to help build a car for you guys to come in and rent. Basically arrive and drive, or bring all your own stuff, just rent the car and come into the 100K series, be super competitive off the bat, not have to spend a boatload of money to come in and at least try it out. So we thought it'd be a cool concept, so I went out and I bought a 2009 C6 Corvette, low mileage, and I'm gonna destroy it, more or less. So this was never the intent, but I'm sure all that is in the other video. So kind of walk you guys through what's going on and where we're headed with it. So as you can see, engine, torque tube, all the factory wiring is on its way out. Pretty much the whole car, minus the interiors over here. There's Nick's old engine, what engine came out of this car, the torque tube, all the subframes, transmission, pretty much everything. Working on getting the interior out now. Already have the back stripped. So yeah, what we're gonna do today is continue to strip the interior, basically get the chassis ready to get the roll cage put in it. And that's probably it. That's probably all we're gonna get to in this episode. Chassis prep is kind of the, I don't wanna say the worst part of the whole process, but like tearing them apart is always fun, but super frustrating because you have to deal with all the stock stuff, and I'm trying to sell a lot of it to recoup some of the money I invested in the initial car. So I can't destroy it all. Otherwise I just, crack everything out with a hammer and pry bars. But we're gonna start tearing it down, start getting the chassis ready for the cage, and then we'll move on to kind of what's gonna go on with the engine and driveline and what the overall picture is for this car. Okay, it's been, I don't know, probably like an hour and a half or so. I've got most of the interior stuff out. I pretty much just had the dash and the steering column left. So this was out before, but I got all like the little finer stuff out, except for the speakers. Seats are all out, all the center console stuff's out, all the rear carpets are out. I've had the GoPro going on time lapse. The radio and all that stuff's out because it's all sold. So basically the last thing's gonna be to start pulling the dash and steering wheel, get the main carpet out, get all the dash vents. Looking forward to pulling the blower motor because according to Matt Field's video, it's a nightmare, but we'll see. Started running everything upstairs. I guess we can take a look up there real quick. Run up there, kind of show you all the parts that are not getting put back in the car. If you guys can see, it's kind of chaotic up here. We have stuff everywhere. Like we've got 240 parts on 240 parts just everywhere. And then this is all the stuff from the race cars. But Corvette pile, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Pretty much none of this is going back on the car except for the center console is going to go back in. Just because I have a really cool handbrake setup I want to do. Then, sorry I'm winded, I've been running up and down these stairs for like an hour. And then the front bumper may or may not go back on the car. I really want to do like the Z06 or Grand Sport bumper. Ideally I'd like to do the HGK carbon Kevlar kit because it's really not that expensive to get. The front and rear bumper, all four fenders, the firewall. There's a couple other things. It was like $4,200, which is not bad. The problem is the shipping. And then from what I understand, they don't ship it to you, they ship it to like a port, and I'm in Fort Walton Beach, so I think the nearest port's probably like 10 or 11 hours, so I don't know. Not sure what we're gonna do about that. We're gonna keep rolling on the interior, get the GoPro back going, we'll see you in a little bit. Yeah, so that last clip, I lied. We're gonna see you in a little bit longer than a little bit. It's actually the next day. I got a little tied up last night. I ended up just going home. it started getting dark, and I don't know, I just really wasn't trying to tussle with the dash last night. So today, I want the dash out of the car. I'd really like to get the carpet out of the car, but we'll see. I have a lot of parts to ship out today, some stuff that's sold overnight, so I'm not gonna bore you guys with me pulling the dash. I'm just gonna steal a trick from Taylor Ray, and we're just gonna snap the dash out. Poof. That was way harder than it needed to be. There's like, I mean, all of those holes, which just the skin of the dash in. There's like not even anything really on the dash. Everything's pretty much bolted like to the firewall behind the dash. This thing is held in by like, I don't even know, it was like 12 screws for some reason. It's just a case. So yeah, dash is out. Next step will be getting kind of all this stuff out and then get the carpet out. And that's probably where we're gonna end this video as soon as I get all this out, because the next step will be chassis prep, which is kind of gonna be on hold till the roll cage gets here. Not really quite sure what I'm doing with the cage, and it's the 23rd of November, a couple days before Thanksgiving, and I still haven't figured the cage out, and that's kind of the biggest hang up right now. So hopefully by the time you guys see this, obviously there's a cage in it and I've got it figured out, but struggling right now. So like I said in the last clip, we're gonna end this video off here. Basically all the teardown is complete as far as I'm going to go for now anyways. There's not much left, so I basically have, the leaf spring's gonna come out. I'm just waiting on my new coilovers to get here, but I'm keeping the stock steering column for now, the factory brake booster, all the stock brake lines, but the stock fuel lines, all that stuff are coming out of the car. I'm actually gonna keep this fluid tank. I'm actually gonna use this as a water sprayer for the radiator. I have some ideas to try and keep this car cool, but I'm not going rear mount radiator in this car, so just gonna have a backup plan. I've done some Corvette like R&D on cooling in my last 2 Corvettes, but wasn't super successful. So we'll see, still working on that one. The inside of the car is pretty much fully gutted. Like there's about nothing left. I've already started kind of shaving the glue away, so mind the mess. I haven't gutted the doors yet because I'm actually gonna order fiberglass doors, I believe, for this car. And then I haven't taken the stock, I guess if you wanna call it a dash bar thing out. My cage does come with one, but it's not here yet, so I'll cross that bridge later because of the steering column mount. And then basically everything's out of the back except for the trunk latch, because I'm gonna keep the stock trunk latch, I think, for now until I go to like a composite, like full fiberglass and Lexan rear hatch, which I don't think is gonna be in the initial build. That will probably be well down the road. So the next things that you guys can expect to see is basically start the chassis prep. Cut this floor out. There's 2 options I have for this. I haven't decided which route I want to go yet, but one route is basically doing the matte field method, where you take off this entire thing right here. The other method, I think, is the way the Drift Games guys did their Corvette, where they basically keep this top substructure and then build mounts up to it to leave the fender mounts, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. I think that's the route I'm going to go. Everything else is out of this car. So next video, like I said, chassis prep. I've already started on it here. I cut these fenders already off. So we'll start doing chassis prep, and then I have some firewall holes to fill and stuff for the chassis prep video. Put the cage in, do some bash bars. After that, it'll basically be on to paint and then final assembly. That's not final assembly, but all the parts are starting to show up. So we'll cross that bridge in the next video, and we'll catch you guys later.